buenas tardes, good afternoon. I'm going to make my presentation in English. I think most people will understand it. Thank you very much for being here. Welcome to Rio. Welcome to Saiki. Thank you, Saiki, for being here for the second year in a row. We're very proud of it. I'm here to present a success story. Last year, I stood in this very stage talking about how 2024 had been a very good year for tourism in Rio, and how the forecasts for 2025 were high. Our expectations are really high. 1 year later, I'm happy and proud to say that the reality was even better than the most optimistic of those forecasts we made 1 year ago. So I'd like to start with some numbers, of course. These are some stats that we got from many sources, some official Brazilian sources, some sources from within the city hall. Last year, we had 12.6 million visitors in Rio. That represents a 10.5 increase compared to 2024. But when we break that number into domestic and international visitors, a more impressive number comes, which is the increase in international visitors last year. 44.8%, almost 50% increase in 1 year in international visitors. We reached 2.1 million international visitors. That's a record for Rio, believe it or not. I think we deserve way more than that, but it's a record for Rio. And with those numbers, the tourism associated revenues in the city reached 27.2 billion reais. That's around $5 billion, depending on the currency and the exchange rate. So that's a 14.3% Rio growth compared to 2024. Rio growth, if we taking into account the inflation. With that, the occupancy rates of the hotels in the city reached 78%. That's a 5 percentage point increase compared to 2024. And that's average, of course. If we consider the high season, like New Year's Eve or Carnival, that number go as high as 95%. And we take into account only the more touristic areas, such as Copacabana, where we are, it reaches nearly 100%. So those are really great numbers. And since we are the town hall, our biggest interest is the lives of the Cariocas, the people who live here. That created 33.3 thousand direct formal jobs in the city. This is, of course, just direct and formal. If you take into account the informal and the indirect jobs, that number is even higher. But even if we look at we economists, I'm economists, call hard data, we see that Rio's performance is really great. In this graph, we have the Touristic Activity Volume Index, calculated by IBGE, Brazil's national statistic agency. The deep blue line is Rio, and the light blue line is Brazil. As we can see, Rio has outperformed Brazil in the touristic activities for the third year in a row. I think that's a very impressive number, and it shows that our strategy has been working. And this is not because Brazil is doing poorly. On the opposite, as you can see, this is Rio growth again, taking already into account inflation. Brazil is growing around 5 or 6% real growth. Rio's rates is double than that. So for the third year in a row, Rio has outperformed Brazil. We believe that success is the result of a strategy that was built on 3 pillars. First one is hospitality. We're not hosting Saiki for the second year in a row for nothing. The second pillar is connectivity. Rio, as an international city, needs a functioning and strong international airport. As Mayor Cavalieri mentioned earlier this morning, we worked a lot to make Galeão a leading airport in Brazil again, and we're being successful in that as well. And the third pillar is a year-round calendar. We want visitors to come throughout the year, not only on New Year's Eve, not only on Carnival. We want them to come all year, and we want all kinds of tourists to find something to do in the city throughout the year. So the first pillar, hospitality, you. As we saw, the occupancy rate has grown last year, 5 percentage points. And that happened despite the fact that the supply of rooms, the availability of rooms in the city has increased. So that's a very clear signal that the demand for the city is high. And we had in 2005 the announcement of the arrival of these are three examples of three important brands in the city. Some came back to Rio, and some are going to be in Rio for the first time. The first example is the Trist in Ipanema, which Mayor Cavalieri also mentioned. It's going to be the first Trist in Brazil. It will occupy the building of the former Ipanema Plaza in Infame de Amoedo Street. It was non-operating since 2017, and the City Hall, us, Invest Rio, we worked with investors, with the brands, to find solutions for these hotels that were not operating. So that was Trist. Sofitel, which once occupied this building, is coming back to the city, and is going to occupy the building of the former Caesar Park Hotel on Ipanema Beach. And for the first time in Rio, and it's going to be the only one in Brazil, Four Seasons is also coming to the city. It's going to be in Leblon, in the building of former Marina Palace, which was a historic and very important hotel in the city that was, again, not operating. And then the City Hall worked in a solution for it, so we're gonna have Four Seasons operating in the city. Ipanema Sol is another beachfront hotel that we are negotiating to bring it back to operation, and our goal is to have all beachfront hotels operating till 2029. The second pillar is connectivity. I'll tell you a little bit of history now. Galeão International Airport was the main gateway to Brazil for decades. Till I'd say the 80s and 90s, when airline companies started concentrating their operations in regional hubs, Galeão unfortunately was not an important hub in their strategy, so it lost a part of its leadership. And the lowest of it happened after the pandemics. Galeão had 3 or 4 million people. An airport with almost 40 million capacity was operating with a tenth of that. And as I said, Rio needs to have a functioning international airport. As Mayor Cavalieri also mentioned, many people do research when they research a destination. If they don't find direct flights to that destination, they just don't come, and we do not want that to happen. So we work closely with the federal government to find a solution to make a coordination between those two airports. Our national airport here, we have Santos Dumont is the national airport here. Many of you may know it. It's downtown. It's beautiful, but it's small and it's national. So when companies focused and concentrated all their operations in that terminal, the city suffered. So with the help of the federal government, we created this coordination between those two airports to function as one for the needs of the city. And the results are also appearing in the connectivity as well. 17.8 million passengers, a 22.8 increase last year compared to 2024. Again, if we split that between international and national visitors, the increase is even more impressive. In international visitors, the increase of 58%. That's the result of the creation of 14 national and 5 international direct destinations, amplifying the network of the airport. And I think this is the most exciting news. And the end of last year, GO announced that Rio, the Galeão Airport, will host its first long-haul international operations. So GO is building its hub, a very important national airline is going to place its main international hub in Galeão Airport, with flights starting to New York, Orlando, Paris, and Lisbon in the middle of this year. And the third pillar of that strategy is a year-round calendar. Todo mundo no Rio, Rio o ano todo, as we call it. Rio throughout the year. As I said, we want people to come throughout the year, not only in the peak of the season, like Carnival and New Year's Eve. And we'll be working with private agents, with other governments, to build this calendar so everyone has something to do in Rio throughout the year. When we looked at the data, like five or 4 years ago, we saw that the lowest of the seasonality in Rio happened in May and June mainly. So we thought we need to do something in those months to bring people to Rio in those months. That's when the first Madonna, actually I feel like Madonna with this, the Madonna concert happened in 2024. It was a success. The next year we had Lady Gaga, it was an even greater success. And by all the stats we've been looking, flight search, reservations at hotels, Shakira this year again in May is going to be a success. As I said, 2.1 million tourists is a record, international tourists is a record for us. We're very happy with that number, but we see no reason why Rio cannot double, threefold, fourfold that number in the next years. And we count on all of you, the hotel community of the world, to help us with that. And if anyone, we still have many opportunities in the city. There are fewer now than there were 2 years ago, 1 year ago, but there are still many opportunities. We have our stand right here. If you want to take a look at those opportunities and work with us, you're all very welcome. Thank you very much.